Not sure if this counts as a double. I don't know if you're winning or losing catching possums. Either way. A few more turkeys been saved. This is number 4 and 5 this morning. All right, got a double on a couple cooney coons. Probably gonna put a couple more traps right here. 6 possums, couple coons. Don't have very many traps out. It's supposed to rain last night, so we're gonna try to double up on traps today. Get some coyote sets out, a couple bobcat sets, and this is what it's about right here. This is awesome. All right, this is one of my sets in the field. Got a pond bank right behind me. They travel both sides of this, all kinds of critters. What I've got here, I've just got a little hole set. Got an MB 550 4 spring with a shock down in there, a little bit of bait down in the hole. I used some grass trimmings from mowing this summer that I dried out to cover it up. And once that sets, especially with this dew in the mornings and this little bit of drizzle today, that'll blend in pretty good. But I covered the whole area so it's just not all just in one spot, kind of spooking everything. Got my bobcat scat next to my bait hole, you can see right there. And then right back into my backing, I've got a little bit of sheep's wool. I got a buddy that shows sheep. He saves his wool for me, and I've got a little bit of Dunlop Coyote Death and just a tad little bit of Hellfire. It's kind of warm, but I put a little long call in there just to see if I can drag them across the field. So we'll come back and I sprayed a little bit of red fox urine all around it on the back side. So we'll see. We'll come back tomorrow and see if anything happens. All right here, this is coming into one of my food plots. You can tell where I've got the area I wanted to travel mowed down. The rest I've let grow up, and it really does work. It'll filter your deer, all your animals that way. But I've got a trail camera here and been getting several pictures of coyotes. So I've got a hole set with some coyote lure in there. Once again, I've just used the grass trimmings, a little bit of bobcat scat. I think in this one, can't remember what lure I put down in there. Just to be honest with you, I think it was some Song Dog and a little bit of my bait I made. And then right over here, you can see where this grass starts to grow up. Right where they come off, there's a trail that way. I've got a 2-hole walkthrough set. I'll show you that. It's kind of a mix between a walkthrough set and one of Rusty Johnson's sets that he uses. So we'll go take a look at that. You can see it comes, there's a little tight spot right here where everything's cut down and food plotted. They travel right through there, and they either go on straight down that way or they break off right around this corner and walk right around this edge. You can see this trail. And then here I've got a 2-hole set. And this side over here, I've got it full of, I believe, Widowmaker, and I just filled that hole to the top with it. And then on this side, I've got a little bit of sheep's wool in there with some MLC modified lure. It's made by Weiser, Western Lure Company. Here's one of their cards I just happen to have in there with me. There's a number if you want it. First year I've used any of their stuff, so I can't vouch for it yet, but Birdsong turned me on to this stuff, and I will say that just by smell, it smells like it's going to be some good stuff. So anyway, another set in the ground. This is one of my hole sets for cats. I usually fence them in pretty tight. It doesn't seem to bother a cat or spook a cat. You can have, you can build a sandcastle around it. They don't really notice as long as it smells right, looks right. So for my flagging, I like to use a little bit of silver Christmas tree garland. It just kind of, they can see it from a long ways off. It really does a trick, gets their curiosity. In the hole, I've got some of the bait I made this year, along with some of the Dunlop Coyote Gland lure and a little bit of that Western rub lure on the very back of the hole. I'll fill the hole up with sheep's wool and then pile everything on top of it, and then put my gland lure on another piece and then stuff it down in the hole. And got an MB 550 buried down in there. Pretty simple set for cats. Most of my cat sets, honestly, I'll use little cubby sets. I've had better luck with those. You can steer them right where you want them to step that way. But I've caught several off of it. I've caught my share off of this anyway. So, but older guy, Bruce, that taught me how to trap when I started. He's the one turned me on to this set, so I can't take credit for that. All right, this is an example of one of my cubby sets for cats. You can see this is one I built last year, still standing, so I just used it. And I've got to where I like to bed my trap right at the entrance. Seems like a cat may come up and work it 2 or 3 times before they ever commit to go down in there, check out what's back up in there. But right in there, you can see a little bit of that sheep's wool. I've got some rub lure and a little bit of bobcat gland, and then on that stick there I've got just a little bit of Widowmaker bait. I like to spray the inside pretty heavy with bobcat urine. Of course, flag with some garland, a little bit of silver garland. It really shines and blows good in the wind. Bed my trap, always bed all my traps in peat moss. I'm pretty heavy in peat moss. It just seems to soak up the water, and really just all around you can bed your trap better, I think, mixing your peat moss in there first. Take a little bit of chaff off the top and sift that over just to kind of blend it in, make it look like something's been coming in and out of there quite a bit. So I pulled all the leaves back. Anyway, pretty simple little set. And those those bobcats, they're so curious, they can't walk by that and everything going on there and not go investigate. And over here across the road, got a little flat set here, so there's nothing around. And just kind of dug out a little spot there. Got a little bit of sheep's wool. Got some double no trouble bait and lure combo by Wiser. And then I usually don't put a step over stick, but this was solid rock right here. And I bedded the trap down pretty good, but just to be safe, I put a step over stick right there. Sprayed everything down good with fox urine. You can see right here I've got a little bit of bobcat scat. Also put some bobcat scat in over there. So can't nothing walk by a turd. Anyway, 2 more on the ground. All right, right here we've got a little hole set, a little cat set. Got a garland, Christmas tree garland flag with. Got a little bit of rub lure in the very back on top. If you can see that sheep's wool bait, and a little bit of bobcat gland lure down in the hole. A little bit of scat, MB 550 in the ground, the wolf fang holding it. I'll spray everywhere back here with bobcat urine. And like I said, I don't mind steering my cat sets as much as any of my other sets. I'll cram them in there pretty tight. You know, I'll use whatever I need to use to steer them with, stick, whatever. It doesn't seem to spook them as much. Across the opening here, I've got a little 2-hole set, just right along where they walk here. Pan sitting about right here. You can see hole. This one right here, this hole is filled up with some Rusty Johnson bait, filled all the way up to the top. We'll see if it works here like it does where he's at. A little bit of scat in the very back, and got a little bit of I believe it's Song Dog's Preem in the back. So, and sprayed it down with fox urine. So anyway, 2 more down.